right, we're live.
Just in the nick of time.
You know?
Caitlin, you really zipped up here from the
I did.
basement floor.
Right.
And you were magically right here. I was just talking to you downstairs.
Yes, yes.
Okay, well, you got your tennis shoes on.
Yep. You guys only a couple more days of this.
Yeah, how much longer in the compression sock?
One more week. We're on Tuesday.
Okay.
A couple more days until
Everything's
Friday.
on
and then
track.
we can whip this thing off and get comfortable again.
And by comfortable, you mean uncomfortable in
the
like
heels?
heel shoes, right?
I just mean like having this thing on is just kind of annoying. Like I've got so much going on. I've got this thing on, the Spanx, ladies know. Then we got the pants on top of it, the socks. It's just a lot.
And the power packs. There's two power packs back there. The viewer can't see
I
at
feel like
home.
I can't move that well.
Yeah, well, now you know how Batman feels.
Right?
Right?
I heard.
The superheroes. They
heard.
got all kinds of gadgets and gizmos. Welcome to Tuesday, everybody.
How's it going, everybody?
Us.
It was another wacky day of weather yesterday.
Last night was turbulence at the
was.
Ponce household. We had
Yeah.
lightning. We had questions from the 4-year-old. What is that outside,
Sure.
Daddy?
Always. Is a tornado coming?
Yeah.
We had heavy rain, 4 to 8 inches of rainfall.
We had 4, I believe, in
Unreal. Yeah.
Yeah, up in the northern suburbs.
Well, especially Southern Cook County, Northern Lake County, Indiana, DeKalb County got hit hard. And this morning, I was driving into work, lots of delays because of standing water. But, you know, we say turn around, don't drown, but there's sometimes is an issue, which Joni was covering this morning too, when there's, multiple lanes of traffic going in one direction, but there's standing water, but you can't really stop and turn around. That would be an interesting topic.
There's peer pressure. If everyone behind you is waiting to go, but you don't want to risk it.
There's semi-trucks on both sides of you.
FYI, if you missed GDC this morning, Joni was right in front of a viaduct where it was completely flooded out, and I would say 9 out of 10 cars were braving it. There was one very smart, and they were making it through by the hair of their chinny chin chin. Now the Jeep Wranglers, they were fine, okay, but like a couple of the other cars, it's like well above, not above the bumper, but yeah, the Honda, like I wouldn't risk that. It's just not worth it.
But I feel like sometimes it's like that minnow mentality. I don't know if you can really get out of that situation. So anyways, this morning you might be seeing some standing water in a few spots, but things are turning around today.
For a second, I was hydroplaning.
Oh, no.
On the expressway, I was going like 65. I knocked it down to like 45, 50 miles an hour after that happened.
Oh, that's scary.
Yeah, it was not
so
a comfortable
scary.
feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we're here safe. Hope everyone had a safe commute. And we got a nice packed show for you today. First up, we are going to tour the city with one of our very special colleagues.
Yes.
An architecture tour with a special focus on Art Deco. I don't know if you're an architecture nerd,
I
Caitlin.
did the tour. The
oh, you
boat
did?
tour.
Okay.
Oh, it's so fun.
Chicago has some of the best Art Deco buildings in the entire world. Result of the Roaring 20s. You got to think like Al Capone and the Great. It always reminds me of like Al Capone and the Great Gatsby and bootleg and the whole thing.
Yes.
So she is going to show us a piece just in a couple of minutes there, and then there's something right now called over-tourism.
Okay.
Over-tourism.
Tell me more.
Okay, so apparently some of the hottest tourist destinations in the world right now are so oversaturated right now that it is becoming like a big problem, and even some of the backup locations are getting oversaturated. So over-tourism is an epidemic right now amid the summer travel boom. So we're going to be speaking with a travel expert on how to navigate this and how to avoid the crowds.
Maybe it has something to do with people having babies later in life or choosing not to have children at all and just traveling.
Maybe.
Do you know what I mean?
We're going to get to the bottom of it.
We will.
And there's another cool thing happening in Chicago. This is, we always hear about new apps, new AI, that kind of thing. There's someone who's come up with an app to gamify taking the CTA. So it's an app that you sign into, and it basically tracks our daily commutes, transit stats, and it basically turns public transit into a friendly competition. You track your miles, you rank riders, you measure your environmental impact, and it's all gamified. So we're going to talk to him about what inspired him to create this app. I actually heard a really cool interview with a woman who talks about how, in general, in our lives, you can the most obvious example is tracking our steps, right?
Yeah.
Like to get to that 10,000 or like unlocking achievements. But there's a way, there's a whole book written. I heard an interview with this author about how to gamify like our entire lives,
Yeah, I
whether
get
it's
it.
eating
Yeah.
or
It's like your
you know,
whole mentality.
and-
Like you get to
Yeah.
live in this body and
Yeah.
have fun
Exactly.
every day.
You can think of yourself as like the main, like
The
you
main
know, the main character in
doing
your
what you
own video
want.
game.
Yeah.
So it's cool stuff. We're going to talk to him a little bit later, but first up, we're going to take a
excited for
step
this.
back to the Roaring 20s.
All right.
The Roaring 20s, everybody, with a walking tour through Chicago's financial district where gleaming Art Deco lobbies tell the story of an era defined by prosperity, bold design, opulence. I love the Board of Trade building. The lobbies in some of these financial buildings on LaSalle there,
Yeah.
they're works of art. I mean,
I
you're
know.
like you're in a work of art.
The
It's
dark
so
paint, the beautiful
Yes.
light fixtures. Yeah.
amazing. Hidden symbols, lavish materials, the towering Board of Trade building. This tour highlights the architectural treasures that have made LaSalle Street a showcase of modern style, and we sent our producer Delaney to check it all out.
Many people are surprised when they find out I've walked past this building for years. Maybe it was the lobby of One North LaSalle. The building is interesting, but would you expect the lobby was that fabulous? Expensive, expensive, expensive. This tour has the most incredible buildings and lobbies. I think you'll see, period. Because incredibly lavish buildings were built at a time of great financial prosperity. LaSalle Street, then Chicago's Wall Street, many banks, and we were learning how many of these buildings were put up by developers with banking halls designed for banks, and even if they didn't have a bank as a tenant, they thought, we'll get one, because banks were ideal tenants then. They had so much prosperity that the architecture firms could go crazy. We saw those incredibly elaborate bronze elevator doors, expensive material, high level of expert craftsmanship, all the amazing stone carving. All of these designs went into the buildings to send a message about prosperity and success and doing well. What is she doing? Well, she has a cornucopia, or horn of plenty, and that's a nice analogy for prosperity. And then these images reinforce the idea of having success. There are some key design elements which we see on most Art Deco buildings, big, medium, or small, and they are the chevron or zigzags. They love the 8-sided octagon. They love sunburst, flowers, birds, fountains. Sometimes they had Greek and Roman gods and goddesses. These designs all help you identify an Art Deco building. For the skyscrapers in New York and Chicago, the distinctive shape of the base with a much smaller tower because of a height limitation, zoning ordinance. So the massive base and the tower in a much smaller footprint, so you didn't have too many solid, massive buildings casting dark shadows, making canyons of the street. So you get that distinctive look of the base with the tower rising up. We have 6 months of classroom training, including architects and engineers and the staff, and we try to make it an engaging and interactive experience for the audience. We try to get them involved. So people really seem to love Art Deco because there's so much imagery and things they can see and try to interpret. I've even had young children on this tour, 6, 10, and they loved it. Fortunately, so many of these buildings have been preserved. Chicago does an excellent job with adaptive reuse, and it's marvelous they've been preserved like this.
Friend, I think. Yeah.
What is your favorite part of Chicago architecture? Is it the Art Deco, or do you gravitate more toward the more modern steel and glass structures?
You know what my favorite is? Like we were talking yesterday about the industrial areas of Chicago, like the
You
industrial
like that
buildings.
gritty, like West Loop or West Town,
Yeah.
like those industrial corridors. I get that.
Those are my
I love
fave.
that too. And you know, so many of those buildings over there are made out of Chicago brick,
Yeah.
which is from the bed of the Chicago River and Lake Michigan as well. So one really cool thing
No way.
about Chicago brick is, like they say, Chicago is made of itself. If that makes
Right,
sense.
yeah,
It's made
sure.
of itself. So a lot of those brick buildings over there in West Town, West Loop are from the riverbed and the bed of Lake Michigan. It's so cool.
We had a townhouse a couple years ago that had Chicago brick flooring in the laundry room, and I didn't know what it was, but the Chicago bricks
It was a
were
brick
all-
flooring.
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Cool.
But like you could see on the bricks,
Uh-huh.
and I didn't realize it was because they were made from
Yeah, they have a distinctive color. It's like a reddish, orangish color that's
Yeah.
distinctly Chicago.
What about you? What's your favorite?
I gravitate toward the Art Deco. And
Do you?
Delaney, by the way, you did an outstanding
Always.
job on that piece. I love the music. It takes you back in time, and
Yeah.
she is a treasure. She's a gem.
Yes.
That tour guide there, and
Yeah.
I'm not surprised that 6 or 10-year-old liked her tour.
Is your
liked her
house
tour.
decorated that way?
Ours, there's a little
Dark
bit.
and moody?
Our house is 1920s for sure, and there are a couple of little art. Actually, our bathrooms are very Art Deco.
Okay.
Yeah, our upstairs bathroom is, and then some of the radiators have like that. You know, I spray painted them myself, but like that brassy color. So yeah, there's a little bit of Art Deco inspired like
That's
touches
cool.
on the inside.
Sure.
But I would definitely say that I gravitate toward the 1920s buildings in Chicago. Some of my favorites, the Tribune Tower. I love the Hotel Intercontinental, the Board of Trade building, the Jewelers building over here. And those lobbies just take your breath away.
Yeah, they do.
They totally remind
They
me of
do.
just like Al Capone,
I
Great
know.
Gatsby.
And it's hard to find, authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're
Art
they're
Deco.
preserved so well.
Yeah. Thank
What do you
goodness.
think is do you have a favorite downtown building that comes to mind?
Not really. Not really.
I mean, I go
where did
different-
we have our Christmas party?
Oh, the Athletic Club.
Oh, was that what it was?
The Athletic Club
I
right
wanna know
down
the
here?
history. That was
Yes.
outstandingly beautiful.
Yes, it is. I don't know the history of that.
I would
think
be
that
so
predates the
curious.
Art Deco, I think, because I think it feels to me like it might be even a little bit older.
It was
The
almost like
Chicago Athletic Club.
otherworldly there.
Yeah, it is unbelievable.
Doesn't seem like it's in Chicago.
It's funny because I do gravitate toward the Art Deco, but I think if I had to choose a favorite building, it's the what used to be known as the John Hancock.
Yeah.
Because I like that crisscross
Do you?
pattern on the
Yeah.
outside. I think that is just like so iconic, Chicago.
I like the history of the buildings. Like I just picture, the people who were building these structures
Mm-hmm.
and putting in this decor, and like if we could just be a fly on
they
the
were-
wall back then, and now we still have it today. That's amazing. To
They
me.
were masters of their craft, and I think in this economy, those same architectural elements, all that gilded trim that we just saw in Delaney's piece, that would be way out of budget for
Yeah, no, for sure.
nowadays. I
You
think
know, another street I really like is Dearborn.
Oh, yeah.
And that's more residential, obviously, but like
up toward the north,
the
yeah.
Gold Coast.
Gold
I
Coast,
used
you're
to
more
like
on
to
State
run
Street
down
in
those roads with the row
Amazing.
houses.
Unbelievable. Yeah,
It's-
those Gold
They're
Coast.
beautiful.
This is a great winter date idea, everybody.
Okay.
Be sure to credit me for this. Nice hot cup of,
Hot cup of Joe.
Joe or
With a little
tea
something,
or
something.
chai, like
Okay.
like a sweet hot drink from like Starbucks or something. And then just walk in wintertime, Christmas season, walk that stretch. You can see in the window, everyone goes all out
Yeah.
with their Christmas decorations.
Yeah.
Get out of a State Street. I know obviously the window displays at the old Marshall Fields, Macy's, they're awesome. Kids love that. But
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
for the adults, if you just do a little walking tour on a nice winter night, milder winter night, look in the Christmas
It's
decorations in
beyond.
Gold Coast.
The Beyond the Beyond.
It's
And then
so
you could
good.
walk all the way to Lincoln Park.
Yeah, and have a rack of rib at Twin Anchors. That's a good winter date.
Okay.
Twin Anchors.
Twin Anchors.
Amazing rack of rib there. Yeah, the baby back ribs there. So that's my winter date idea.
So
Put a
sweet.
pin in that.
Yeah.
Enjoy the fall though.
You know
We
where
got
I
a lot
always
of
wanted
time.
to go down there is the Blue Door. Have you been to that
No.
restaurant?
No.
It's a darling little place from the outside.
The
I've never
Blue
been
Door.
inside. Yeah.
I'm not cool
I'll
enough
have to
to know.
look it
Anita
up.
Blanton knows all these places.
And Sylvia Perez, of course.
Yes,
We've got
indeed.
some foodies amongst us.
Okay, so we are going to take a quick break. We're talking about being tourists in our own town, but Over-tourism is an epidemic right now, not just here in the States, but globally, worldwide. If you feel like you've been to some tourist spots and it's more crowded than ever, that is not your imagination. So coming up, we're going to be speaking with a travel expert about how to navigate around overcrowding in some of the most popular tourist destinations. So stay with us. She's going to join us when we come back.
10:20, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. So if you have traveled abroad this summer, chances are you've noticed it feels a little more crowded than ever. From the Trevi Fountain in Rome to Dubrovnik's Old Town, popular spots, they're struggling under the weight of mass tourism. So a recent survey found nearly 3/4 of travelers are concerned about over-tourism, with many now avoiding traditional hotspots altogether. So what's driving this surge and how does it impact both safety and the overall travel experience? We are joined by travel expert Janine Tornatore to help break it down. Good morning, Janine.
Good morning, great to be here.
Okay, so Janine, I've got a theory about this. I think it might have something to do with the fact that a lot of people are either having kids later in life or choosing not to have kids at all and just travel. Are you finding that this might be the trend of the people these days?
Well, I think that's part of it. Travel is just also so much more accessible, I think, to a broader audience than it was even, say, 20 years ago. And then, of course, you have social media, also another big factor. And when you see someone's photos on Instagram, everyone wants to go there, right? And everyone's looking for those Instagrammable places as well. So I think it is definitely a combination of all of those things.
Okay, so the Instagrammable places are getting oversaturated. You're calling it over-tourism. What can we do to address this if we are wanting to see some of these famous places, but we don't want to get caught in the crowds? What is your advice, Janine?
Yeah, well, look, I mean, over-tourism, not only is it not great for the destination itself, it's not really great when you're visiting as a tourist. I mean, you want to be able to enjoy the place where you're visiting without feeling like you're shoulder to shoulder in crowds. So one thing you can do is travel during what we in the travel industry call the shoulder season. Now, nobody really wants to go to these places in the complete off season when, you're looking for that nice weather. And so the shoulder season is what is typically thought of as kind of that in between the low season and the high season, when you still get nice mild temperatures in a lot of these places, but you get more affordability because there's less crowds. So it's a nice time to visit. So for example, if you're looking at a lot of these European destinations, the spring and the fall are thought of as the shoulder seasons. The summer is when it's crowded, overcrowded, and busy. I took my family to Italy and to Sicily over spring break a couple of years ago, and it was fantastic. The temperatures were in the 70s. It wasn't that, beach weather, but it was nice t-shirt weather. There weren't the crowds at a lot of the sites around, and it was frankly more inexpensive. It was easier to find hotel rooms, whether you're doing that or a home rental. So looking to those shoulder seasons is a great idea. And again, Europe, that's spring and fall. If you're thinking the Caribbean, it's actually summer into fall. Spring, of course, is when a lot of people want to get to those warm weather destinations. So it can depend on the destination when that shoulder season is, but looking to those off times is a really great strategy.
So this over-tourism, obviously it's not fun to be in long lines or overcrowded spaces, but you mentioned how it may not be good for these destinations or these spots to go see. Can you explain that a little bit?
Well, yeah, I mean, having too many people in a destination, there's obviously, things like littering and just, too much strain on a lot of these destinations and their resources. So that's how it can kind of, be bad for some of these destinations. Now, another thing to consider is looking for what I'm sure you guys have heard this term because it's become a trend, destination dupes. That is, instead of going to the hotspot, if you want that similar experience, similar ambiance, it's looking to destinations that offer that. So for example, if you want that great European ambiance, those old world cobblestone streets and bistros, look to Quebec City in Canada instead of some of those more popular European destinations. You get a lot of that experience. You know, you can sit outside, enjoy that great music on those cobblestone streets, and have all of that ambiance, but without adding to the overcrowding and over tourism in some of those European destinations. And frankly, you know, it's a 2.5 hour flight over there. It's a lot less expensive to get there. It doesn't take as long. So there can be a lot of reasons why that can be a good one. A couple of other ones we're seeing for destination dupes. Portugal and places like Lisbon are seeing a lot of over tourism. Looking to somewhere like Palermo in Italy and Sicily can be a nice option that doesn't have, you know, that popularity just yet. And you can even find places in the United States that offer similar ambiance to European counterparts. Vail, Colorado is often thought of as a great destination dupe for somewhere like Switzerland or those high alpine European destinations. They have a really great Oktoberfest coming up this fall. They have those Swiss chalet style hotels, a lot of the food that you're going to see in these high alpine European destinations. So you can even stay closer to home and kind of get that same feel.
That's really good advice. I like that idea of
The
the dupe location. I just got back from Florence, actually, and we were taking a little walk, side story here, and spray painted on one of the walls was "Go Home Tourists." So I actually asked a couple of hotel staff and bar staff, like, hey, what's up? Like, you know, where does this anti-tourist stem from? And their answer was a lot of these big-time tourist destinations, the Airbnb rules there are not favorable to the location. And so they're like, we're not necessarily mad at you guys per se for coming over here. It's the rules here that are saturating the local, like, hotspots with too many Airbnbs, and so investors are scooping this up. Is my experience in Florence, is that common? Does that surprise you at all, Janine?
It's becoming more and more common. We've seen a lot of that in places like Barcelona and Madrid, in Spain in particular, because they are facing some of those same issues you're talking about, where, you know, for people that have rental homes, they can make a lot more money putting it up as an Airbnb or Vrbo, as opposed to, you know, those long-term rentals to local residents. So we're seeing a lot of people being pushed out. And that's, I think, a lot of the, you know, what you're seeing in terms of people kind of taking it out more on the tourist. Unfortunately, some of the things that we're seeing put in place by, you know, local governments and local tourism authorities to kind of manage just tourism in general in some of these places are, we're saying, you know, you'll probably see some of this in the coming years going to especially European and international destinations, or more taxes that will affect the pricing for tourists, additional fees coming into some of these destinations as tourists. We're also seeing that some destinations are capping their guided tours. So you might see limits on how many guided tours there are to places like, you know, the Colosseum in Rome, or some of the more popular places where it's just a constant funnel of tourists coming in through those. So what that can mean for you as a tourist is, if you are planning on going to one of those destinations, you might want to make sure you're booking those types of things even earlier, because there may be less of them. They may be capped. So it may be more difficult if you wait closer to your vacation to find one of those that you're looking for.
That was going to be my question, is what about those people who are locked in with that school schedule, right? You're already booking your spring break destination. How to get ahead of it is just to book it ahead of time, those different tours. So you have your finger on the pulse of all the sales, all the good deals going on. If we're getting into school, you know, as I just mentioned, we're planning out our year. Do you have any suggestions or places that are going to be affordable, really affordable this year, that they should look at?
Well,
now?
again, I think a lot of it is really timing. So if you are someone that has the flexibility, maybe you don't have kids that are in school, that's when you want to go, when everyone else's kids are in school. So again, hitting those European hotspots in October and early November is one of the best times that you can go and still have that nice weather, but you don't have the crowds. You find a lot of deals this time of year on airfare, particularly to places like Europe and the Caribbean, which is in its off season. Again, if you're looking ahead to the holidays, holidays, traveling over Thanksgiving, over Christmas, and you do have a family and you are stuck to those same dates when everyone else is traveling. I feel that. I have 3 kids, and you don't have that flexibility. Starting to look now is really important. I've already set the dates when we want to travel over Thanksgiving and Christmas into those flight trackers that will track them for you and alert you when you hit those price points that you want to get. So that's really important, is to start looking now and setting those parameters and getting those alerts so that you can jump on those flight deals when you see them.
When do you expect you're going to book your travel for Thanksgiving specifically?
We're looking now. We're traveling to a popular destination in Florida, and I will tell you that flight prices in particular, are really expensive. So if you see something, now's really the time to start locking them in. You shouldn't expect over the week of Thanksgiving to see any type of sales or any type of big dips in prices. There's always a little bit of fluctuation, but as we get closer, particularly when you're traveling over a very high demand period where everyone's traveling on just those few days, do not wait for prices to drop, because it's a matter of supply and demand, and the more those planes fill up, the more expensive your tickets are going to get. So now's the time to start looking for those and locking them in if you can.
One more question. You mentioned Palermo, you mentioned Quebec City, a couple of any other destinations that you think are right now still in the safe zone? They're not oversaturated just yet, that you may want to put on people's radar if they're looking to avoid the crowds?
Well, I was actually on the show last week or the week before, and I talked about Western Colorado. So this is another one of my favorite destination dupes for, the Grand Canyon. Grand Junction, Colorado is in Western Colorado. There's the Black Canyon of the Gunnison there, and it is a dupe for the Grand Canyon, which is really busy. There's also Rattlesnake Canyon, which is a great dupe for Arches National Park. It has the second largest concentration of arches in the world. So again, another kind of tip, I guess, is looking for these destination dupes, but also if you're going to some of these bigger cities, if you're going to Florence, for example, and it's really busy, head out to some of those smaller towns outside of these bigger cities and support those smaller local economies in some of these destinations. You often find that without the crowds, you're going to have that more authentic experience and kind of spread out a little bit of the tourism that is in some of these destinations.
All right.
Very
Janine,
good advice. Very good advice.
Expert, yes.
Thanks, Janine. Happy travels to you.
You too. My pleasure.
I've been to that canyon she mentioned in Grand Junction.
Yeah.
The dupe for the Grand Canyon. It is spectacular.
Is it?
Yes.
I feel you don't really have to go to these extraordinary lengths to see beautiful things.
It's really unbelievable when you get to somewhere like Colorado. You can find just any old unmarked trailhead there will beat anything here in the Midwest.
Right.
It's really, you don't need to go to the one that's got all the 5-star ratings on TripAdvisor.com. You can. She's right. If you just know the general vicinity to go, you can find things that are off the beaten path.
And it's kind of cool sometimes too when you travel places to go to those smaller towns and really get to know the culture and the different hotspots for the people who live there.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So fun. Such good
Get
advice.
local, everybody. Get local.
Yeah.
And if you're coming to Chicago, if you're visiting, get out of the downtown area. Get into the neighborhoods.
Yeah.
Get into the neighborhoods, everybody.
That was your suggestion. I remember that.
The Goddess and the Grocer is a really cool place here in Chicago.
And we've got them
that
right
a
over
lot of locals like to hit up. Goddess and the
Yeah.
Grocer. We got the whole squad here. They're going to be introducing us, and I hadn't even heard the phrase before this
haven't
morning.
either. I don't know
dirty
what it means.
sodas.
Okay.
I've heard the dirty martini.
Yeah.
Heard of the dirty martini. I'm familiar with that. They're colorful. They're creamy. They're all over TikTok. And we are going to find out exactly what a dirty soda is from the experts at the Goddess and the Grocer when we come back.
10:35, welcome back. So we are very excited about this segment. There's a lot to look at and a lot to get to, but we are talking about dirty sodas with the Goddess and Grocer. So we are joined by Nick Hiddle. He's the coffee lead of the Goddess and Grocer, and Sydney Jews, she's a barista at the Goddess and the Grocer. So these are colorful, creamy, and all over TikTok, but what exactly are dirty sodas? So this sweet trend started in Utah. mixing classic sodas with flavored syrups. So kind of like coffee syrups and a splash of cream. And now it's making waves nationwide, from Swig to Sonic and even coffee creamers on grocery store shelves. Dirty sodas are quickly becoming a cultural phenomenon. So it sounds almost like a soda slash coffee shop. Am I right?
Yeah, you
A little bit? Okay, so
How would
let's
you
get
guys
into
define
it.
dirty soda?
I would say a dirty soda it can really be anything. It takes like a sparkling aspect, so like usually it's like a soda, like an orange soda or something like that. We like to use Spindrift, so it's just like
I
sparkling
love
water
Spindrift.
with
Yes.
juice. It's a little lower sugar.
Yeah. And it has that real juice in it too,
yeah.
right? The
Yeah.
real fruit juice.
And then you kind of use that as a base, and then pick whatever flavor you want, add it to it, add whatever modifications you want to it.
Ooh. All right, so Sydney, take us through some of these modifications. This looks like a
matcha?
alchemical laboratory right
for
here.
sure.
I mean, what do you got here? You got some like
got some
utensils and tools and
matcha powder right here.
trinkets.
Yeah, lots of
We
trinkets.
got our Spindrift that we were just talking about as well. Basically, we're using the Spindrift as a base, and the dirty aspect of our dirty soda or our passion fruit matcha spritz is going to be lychee syrup and passion fruit syrup.
What is lychee syrup?
So
Lychee is an Asian fruit that like comes in a like hard spiky shell, and then you peel it, and it's like
I've
this
seen
nice.
these before.
Yeah, they're
like
they're
clear,
like
almost translucent white color.
they're
yeah.
almost like alien brains type of things. That's what me and my
Delicious in
friends
a beverage.
Alien
they look like.
brains.
Okay.
But they taste great.
Well, beautiful. Well, what do we got going then? How do we make it?
So let's start with.
There's your Spindrift,
Spindrift.
Caitlin. I saw you
I love
posted
Spindrift.
Didn't you post a picture of yourself with a Spindrift?
Literally that one yesterday. It's
I'm
very
gonna try
refreshing.
it still. I'm still on the LaCroix
Oh, it's way
train,
better
but
than
like
LaCroix.
I'm hearing all these
With the
things
Spindrift.
about LaCroix and how this is healthier.
And if we could have the matcha
Oh,
whisk.
yes, you can.
Oh, the matcha whisk.
Oh,
Use a little
that's
bit.
what that is.
Yep. And so Sydney's gonna prepare the matcha while I get the syrups ready.
So this is something you could do at home maybe too, huh? Get creative.
For novices as well. What is matcha exactly? There's caffeine in that, right?
Yes.
Okay.
matcha is a really good alternative to coffee, actually. If you feel like you get too jittery on coffee or anxious, I would suggest trying matcha. It's basically a concentrated like green tea, essentially. And that's just what's replacing what would be an espresso shot in a drink.
Cool.
Yum. It's all about some caffeine in my life.
Yeah, it's a lot more of a slow rise of energy.
Ooh, nice. So it doesn't hit you
Yeah.
It's a slow
like a ton
burn.
of bricks. And yeah, a lot of people, when they overdo the coffee just by a little bit, they complain that it makes them jittery and wrecks their whole day.
Yeah.
So matcha is more of a slow build.
Yeah, and
You
a
know,
slow come down too.
I like the smell.
I kind of
by the
feel
way.
like this
I really
is-
like that smell. It's earthy.
Yeah.
Earthy.
Along the vibes of like the sober curious.
Yeah.
People who want to have some fancy drinks. Like when I was pregnant, I remember taking like bubbly waters with some orange juice and some ice and pretending
Kind of like
oh,
a
this is-
cocktail.
Yeah, like my, wind down beverage. What do they call it? A fridge cigarette? if you
Is
will.
that what a
Yeah, I
fridge
think.
cigarette?
I thought maybe. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. So what
All
are we
right.
doing now? So
So-
you added some different little squeezies. These were the flavors. you were
Yes,
talking
so I
about?
added the passion fruit and the lychee syrups into the Spindrift, and then we just poured the matcha on top. And if you pour it over the ice, you can kind of see how it like sinks in
Yeah.
and
Looks
kind of
like
just like
algae.
floats in.
Which one is this one on your summer sips menu here?
So yeah, this is our passion fruit
hold it up
passion
for you.
fruit lychee matcha spritz.
Oh,
it is a
okay.
mouthful, but
yeah.
it's been very popular throughout the summer so far, along
Cute.
with our other drinks.
We are hearing about Gen Z and how they are gravitating away from booze, like
Yeah.
way more than their generational predecessors. At your locations, are you seeing a rise in popularity with these kinds of beverages?
Yes, we definitely are. Not with just our own handmade beverages, but we also sell a lot of retail beverages, and a lot more they're coming up with different drinks that use different like minerals and stuff to help,
CBD is really
like
popular
CBD,
as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
adaptogens, like lion's mane. They use that to kind of simulate a mood lifting effect without
Sure.
These
Without the
seem
booze.
delicious.
without the booze.
Which actually just poisons your body. It really does.
So what are these ones? The oranges. Is this another flavor?
So this is just we use as a garnish for the matcha
matcha
spritz.
one?
So when you just put it on top and then it's ready to serve to the customer.
Do you recommend stirring it up, by the way, or just drinking it like that?
I recommend stirring it up personally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just because it can be a little matcha forward if you just sip it when it's on top.
Yeah.
Should we give it a little taste?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anthony, help yourself.
Should I do that? Okay, and then
Yeah.
Nick, this one right here, is this the watermelon mint?
Yes, that's
Okay.
our watermelon mint Arnold Palmer.
I would love to give this one. Here, Caitlin nominated me for this one.
Yeah.
To be honest, I'm more curious about this one.
All right, go
matcha
ahead.
I'm
flavor.
gonna do it.
And this is
I also need a
watermelon
little
mint
pick me
what?
up because
Wait,
Theo and I have
need some
haircuts
too.
after
Can we
this.
get some powder in this one?
Can you
I'm
hook me?
tired. Let's see.
I'm not sick. If you want to share.
Take a sip of both. Oh, that's refreshing. So this is like a little. Is it tea? Is
Yep,
this tea?
so this one's black tea lemonade with
Okay.
watermelon and a mojito mint syrup.
Very refreshing.
I wish I knew about this at the beginning of the summer because this is a great summer flavor. This is delicious.
Is it so? Let me try.
Go
And
for it.
also, then let's get into these snacks too, because I'm also hungry. What is this?
yeah.
What are these?
So these are a brand, woman-owned brand that we sell. They're legally addictive, but
That is
that's the
amazing.
brand name.
Oh, that's okay.
They're based on a like homemade snack, I
Okay.
think called Christmas crack. So
Christmas
it's like
crack.
a
Christmas
saltine,
crack.
saltine chocolate
Thank you.
toffee.
Okay, wait.
Easy to make at
Stop.
home.
Wait.
Yeah.
This is amazing.
Yeah.
Is that what's in these bags? Are those bags? for
So
it?
these are pretzels. We have a bag right
Oh,
over
that's
here.
Legally
your Christmas
addictive.
crack?
Yes. Yep.
Oh,
Caitlin,
yeah.
I think
Oh,
you and I
yeah.
are both sold on all this stuff. What's the TikTok
I feel
effect
like.
been like
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
for you guys? Like, we were saying how these are exploding online and everything like that. And do you feel like these are here to stay, or is this a fad that's going to be over in a couple years? What's your take?
I think matcha's definitely here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
There was definitely like an uptick in it, I would say, this year.
Yum.
But it's a great alternative, like I said before. And yeah, I mean, TikTok got it right.
Yeah. Can we
Where
talk
can
about?
folks find you guys?
What is this?
Yeah.
What locations do you guys have around the city? There's more than one Goddess Grocer, right?
Yes, there are. We have three locations in the city. One in Bucktown, one in Fulton Market, and one in Gold Coast. And then we also have a fourth location in O'Hare and Terminal 5. So if you're ever
Oh,
traveling,
really?
You guys, great
we're
gifts.
just
I was
talking about-
literally just about to say this would be a great present for someone.
Yeah.
A little goodie bag with some of these yummy snacks and maybe a couple of the fun beverages. That's awesome. So I was just looking at this too, by the way, and you were mentioning how like the water is with additives. So this one has adaptogens, herbs, and antioxidants, and it's supposed to calm and hydrate.
Yep.
What other options do people have, like with bubbly waters,
yeah.
to
So
calm yourself, to get yourself excited? What do we got?
yeah, Haywell is a great local brand that we sell. They have a bunch of different flavors that calm. They have uplift, they have restore, kind of like resetting your body. We also have, I mean, they kind of have done it like all.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Run
before
the
we let you
gamut.
go, because we're almost going to get the wrap here. Your own two, each of your personal favorites at the location.
Sour blueberry, that sounds delicious.
It's hard. I
What
love
would
the
you say?
Legally Addictive. We also sell Pop Daddy, which we don't have out here, but their dill pickle pretzels are insane.
Dill pickle pretzels. You know who's going to love that one? Caitlin is Natalie
Who?
Baumke.
Does she love pickles?
She loves snacks in general.
Okay.
An assortment of treats and snacks.
Yeah. I didn't know you could buy matcha by the bag.
And how about you, Nick? What's
That's
your
so
own
fun.
personal favorite? If you were left to your own devices, what would you concoct for yourself, sir?
Oh, you know what? Just because it is almost fall, I think I am in the mood for pumpkin. So I think I might be concocting like a pumpkin dulce de leche latte.
What does that mean? To what's in that?
Pumpkin syrup and dulce de leche, so it's like a caramelized milk syrup.
Ooh,
And
okay.
then this will be a latte, so it will have espresso.
Oh, yep.
And then milk.
Love
Yum.
it. Do you guys work together at the same location, or are you guys at different spots?
We'll be working together
Yep,
tonight,
yep.
actually.
Where
So-
can folks find you if they want to come by and say hi at Goddess Grocer?
Yeah, come by our Fulton Market location, 911 West Randolph. We'll be working there tonight.
Making some drinks.
Sweet.
So fun.
Nick and Sydney Juice, thank you guys
What a
both so
treat.
much. I'm hogging this thing. I'm sorry. We
it
can
seems-
share it,
enough.
Caitlin.
We have enough. We can make her
Okay.
another one.
It seems like a fun thing to do too, like if you had a party, for example, and you wanted to have some beverages and fun little toppings like watermelon and different fruits. You could just set all this out. It doesn't have to be alcoholic, and it's still super fun.
Yeah.
Can kids have matcha, by the way? Do we know this?
Depends on if you want your kid to have caffeine.
It's the caffeine
Yeah.
part.
My
There is-
9-year-old, he's starting to ask for coffee in the morning. It is
Really?
his piano teacher got him hooked on the coffee flavored, and then now he's doing
Are
it.
you letting him?
From time to time, I let him. I'm
Wow.
like, Theo, you're too young for this, man.
That
But
is so funny.
He likes
Well,
it.
he likes Elvis.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
He's an old
He's an old
soul.
soul,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, I love that. Well, the goddess and the grocer. Thanks for coming in today, you guys. This was delicious.
Yeah, thank you guys both so much.
Opened our eyes to
you.
different
Really
options.
appreciate it. And we're
Yeah.
back with more Chicago Now right after this.
Welcome back, 10:48. If you have a friend that knows how to make an app, you've got a great friend. And we just made one ourselves. This is Charles. He made a friendly, competitive app for friends and family, building up a new streak about CTA writing, transit stats. He's gamified this public transit situation in Chicago. So this app that you created lets you track your total mileage, compete with your friends and other Chicagoans on rideage, and see your overall environmental impact by choosing to take public transit. This is going to take off.
Well, I hope so. It's called Transit Stats, and to give you guys the elevator pitch, it's basically like a fitness tracker, but for public transit, right?
Okay.
So it's an app that, like if you ever use Strava, right, to track your runs, to see your progress
Yes.
as you continue to get better at running, it's kind of like that for public transit. So, it tracks your public transit, it gives you a full ride history, it gives you really in-depth personal stats, and then it lets you compete with other Chicago users on a leaderboard. So it basically turns your daily commute into a game, and it's the only app of its kind, and it's, for now, right here in Chicago.
That's cool. Are you from Chicago? Are you from the area?
I'm not from the area, so one of the important, I guess, inspirations for the app was moving here. I wanted to stop driving, right? And there's only a few cities in the United States where you can actually do that. Chicago being one of them with the CTA.
New York, you could probably do it.
Exactly. San Francisco, you can get away with
Yeah.
it, but I ended up in Chicago from Los Angeles originally.
Oh, you could never do it in
Okay.
LA.
Not even. Now you get why I want to stop driving. Right?
Yeah,
The traffic.
right. You've
So-
got PTSD. It's
Exactly.
bad.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I moved here, sold the car, fell in love
Good
with
for you.
fell in love with the CTA, and I make software for a living, so one thing led to another, and we get transit stats. So
Wow.
Very cool. So how does it work? Do you just download it, and does your phone know that you're on a train or a bus?
So it
just
doesn't-
automatically, or how does it work?
It can't track you like that. I don't want to collect that much data from our users. Just safety,
Right.
a safety sort of thing. So you can do it one of two ways. When you get on a train or bus, you could just hit start, and it'll track your ride and automatically pick up what train or bus you're on. Or if you don't want to worry about it while you're traveling, you can just log a ride afterwards. You set the date and time. You say which line, which your starting point, and it'll auto-estimate the time and distance, and there you go, your ride's added to the system.
So when it comes to making an app, I have so many questions. So you said that you program these things. This is your job. How did you start? Even down to, I'm sure on the app you have an avatar or something that you can pick. Can you walk us through the process in elementary terms on how you make an app from the bottom up?
So I'll do my best. So once again, this is what I do for a living
Yeah.
outside of this, so that helps a lot, right?
Sure.
But it started with an idea and some sketches, and then I designed the whole thing in a design program. So I have a nice outline of how it would look and how it would work. Then I got to build the back end, where all the data is stored, how all these things work, and then you tie that back end to the front end, which is a lot easier said than done, and submit it for approval on the App Store and Play Store, and there you go.
No
So
way.
it took about 4 or 5 months from start to finish.
That's
which
it?
that's a lot quicker than most apps.
Okay.
But yeah, that's it.
Phenomenal.
It's easier said than done, but with today's modern AI tools and all that stuff, you can speed the process up, and it's a lot more accessible for people who are not professionals, so, which is great.
Wow.
I heard this interview. The author's name is Jane McGonigal, and she wrote this whole book about I was telling Caitlin this before you came on, gamifying your life and how it can be. It can basically be a fun way to become kind of more engaged in your surroundings, to meet goals, that kind of thing. Just wondering what kind of benefits you see, because you're kind of gamifying public transit. It's a very, it's
Absolutely.
kind of a wild idea, but so like, what were the seeds of that idea, and why does it motivate people to like make things a game?
Yeah, I guess, so you buy your Venture Pass, right? A lot of people pay monthly, and the way I originally conceived of the idea was I started tracking like how many rides I'm taking on a monthly basis to see if I'm getting the value out of that pass in my Notes app. Then I went on the App Store and I looked for something to do it, and it didn't exist, so that's kind of where the inspiration came to be. As far as you spoke about gamifying, in the app we have achievements, we have ride streaks, and at least personally, that's a lot of the motivation to get back on the app and keep taking the CTA as well as the environmental aspect of things. So gamification is definitely a huge motivator for me in terms of where it's going development-wise and why I like to use it.
So you said ride streaks. So are there like different coins that you get, or like how do you, a point basis, how do you win, and what do you win on your app if you're facing your friends or family?
So right now we're not winning anything. It's just
Okay.
bragging rights. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But as far as ride streaks going, it's kind of just like Snapchat. Every day in a row, you take a ride and you log it. Your ride streak ticks up by 1, and there's a certain number of achievements that you can unlock once you reach certain ride streaks. 3 days, 7 days. You can see how that can go on and on and on. Right now, there's no prizes. Hopefully, I can get something going like that in the future.
Get sponsored by the CTA.
Hopefully, that's the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah, have you heard from the CTA about this?
Not yet, but I'm hoping this thing will
Yeah.
send an email to me or something like
What's
that.
What's the status update? Do you have users that are actually coming up with streaks right now? Are you just now getting it off the ground? Paint a picture for the playing field as it stands today.
Right, so it's been public for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
And it's doing better than expected. I'm almost to 700 users in 3 weeks.
That's good.
Which is a lot more than expected,
Yeah.
which is fantastic.
Yeah.
Little stressful, but it's up and running. There's been no crashes, which is great. And I'm hoping to grow that and improve this experience here in Chicago.
What is it called? It's the transit
Transit
stats?
stats?
It's called Transit Stats, and it's available on the App Store and Play Store. So if you have Android or iPhone, it's there for you.
Free download?
Free download.
Down the road, are you thinking about maybe adding in, like you said, tracking your steps, like putting in like a walking portion? Or
That would be fantastic, because a lot of people are walking to the train, walking to the bus, then walking from the stop to their job.
Yeah.
I could see how that could integrate perfectly.
Listen,
there you go.
CTA leadership, if you see this segment, this could be good. You gamify the whole thing. You put, I always think you guys should do
Yes.
competitive weathercasting, you versus Kaplan.
Right.
You know what I mean? No. But
We're on the same team.
Caitlin won. Yeah, exactly. We're all on the same team here. But imagine that. Like, hey,
Yeah.
we're going for a ride streak. That could boost ridership, and maybe they'll step in.
Or maybe certain
and say,
days you go, like,
Yes.
if you go to this stop on this day,
That's
you get
extra
a bonus
points.
or something.
If you take, if you
South
take the
Shore Line
CTA
train,
on
you can drop that in there.
New Year's Eve or something to avoid drunk driving.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
all kinds of possibilities.
Avatars, you
Absolutely.
can decorate your own avatar.
And the environmental impact thing
Yeah.
is huge.
Yeah.
Seeing, the CO2 emissions you're saving by choosing the bus or train over driving, and what that equals in terms of like hours of LED lights, smartphone charges. Like we
Right.
have all that kind of interesting stuff in the app as
Well,
well.
they could
They- I mean-
easily do too, like, okay, you put in so many miles and you get a free pass for the month.
Absolutely, and
That's the
especially
dream.
if they're considering things like congestion pricing and paying tolls to get on, into the, how like New York has done
Right.
that, where you have to
Right.
actually pay more to
Yes.
even bring your car
Yeah.
to
Right.
certain areas of the city. So
Yeah.
this could incentivize people even more to
I
do
love
what
it.
he did
Your
and
future is bright. kid.
get rid of the car,
so.
right?
Yeah.
All right, Charles. Congratulations to you.
Yes.
Good luck.
So
700
exciting.
users.
That's great.
I mean, hopefully it can keep growing.
That's really big.
Yeah,
We have a couple seconds, but what do you know how you got like those first 700 users? Is it all like word of mouth, or did you like call every person in your Rolodex?
Right. I don't
Facebook.
have 700 friends, unfortunately, but I put out some TikToks that gained a little traction, and the CTA community on Reddit really liked it. So that's kind of where the initial
Okay.
boost
we love
came
Reddit
from.
here.
Yeah, we love Reddit here. Okay, the app is called Transit Stats. Just go to the App Store, download away. Let's
You heard it here
gamify
first.
our commute.
Yeah.
Caitlin.
Thanks for coming in.
Yeah, thanks
Thank
for
you
coming
guys so
in.
much.
All right, we're inching toward 11 o'clock when Caitlin and I hand off the baton. I saw Tia Ewing walk into studio.
Tia's ready. She's ready.
Yes, superstar Tia Ewing. I'm gonna keep drinking my
Yeah, I wanna try my
matcha.
what is this?
You got this.
The sour blueberry
Which
United
I think was
sodas.
one of their favorites. Got us in the grocer. Our new friends here.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for yet another hour. This Tuesday edition of Chicago Now.
Cheers.
Download transit stats. Have a great rest of your morning, and Caitlin and I will see you right back here tomorrow.